Hey guys, it's story time again. I've got another new book. It's called The Fairy Tale Treasury. There's our cover. It looks exciting, doesn't it? The first story in this one is Cinderella. And this book's a little different. It doesn't have a cover page like the other one does. Or the others, I should say. So it kind of just jumps straight into the story. So here we go. Cinderella. Clip, clop, clip, clop. A shimmering horse cantered up a street to a big house. A royal messenger delivered an envelope with a golden seal. An invitation to Prince Charming's ball, shrieked one of the daughters of the house. She was as ugly as a toad on a bad day. Her twin sister was just as ugly and twice as nasty. Their stepsister Cinderella was forced to cook and clean all day long. She was given only rags to wear. How exciting! What shall I wear? Cinderella wondered out loud. And who said you shall be joining us? Roared her stepmother, from whom the twins got their looks. The dirty dishes and the broom will keep you company. And off they rushed to the ball, leaving poor Cinderella behind. Here we are. There's the beginning. This is what they call a cover page in this one. And here's our picture with the twin sisters dancing and the stepmother walking into the room. They do look a lot alike, and not in a good way. Here's Cinderella washing dishes. Suddenly a fairy godmother appeared with a pumpkin carriage. You shall go to the ball, she announced in a flash. Cinderella's tattered clothes changed to a stunning ball gown. Be back before midnight or the magic wear out. The fairy godmother smiled. Here's the effect of the magic, where she turns mice into white stallions, turns a pumpkin into a carriage, changes her ragged clothes into something nice and beautiful. And there's a fairy godmother over here with her wand, working all kinds of mysterious magic. I think I pointed to the wrong side. Well, you saw it all. I'll pay more attention next time. Prince Charming stared when he saw the beautiful Cinderella coming down the stairs into the ballroom. His cheeks blushed as he bowed and asked her to dance. He looked at no other girl that night, and especially not at the twin sisters, who thought Cinderella was a princess from a faraway land. Cinderella and the prince danced all night. Their hearts were beating so loud, they drowned out the ticking of the clock. It was only when the palace bells started chiming midnight that Cinderella looked up from the prince's shoulder. Sire, was all she managed to say. And over here we have Cinderella coming down the stairs in her beautiful ball gown, with everyone dancing and having a good time. She has no thought of time until it's almost too late. Do you know what happened next? Bong! The clock continued to strike 12. Cinderella remembered that the magic would soon wear off, dashed away in a hurry. She ran up the ballroom steps and out of the palace gates. When the prince followed, he could see no sign of his princess, just an ordinary girl in rags running down the street. Where had the mysterious girl gone? And there she is, realizing that she's out of time while she's dancing with the prince. And she runs to try to get home before the magic can wear out, or at least before he can figure out who she is and truth. Then Prince Charming noticed a glass slipper on the top step. Cinderella had lost it in her panic. The prince lifted up the shoe very carefully and gazed at it in the moonlight. The prince pressed the slipper to his heart. I shall marry no one but the girl whose foot fits into this daintiest of slippers, he declared. And there he is, climbing. Yeah. He's climbing the stairs and finding the glass slipper up here somewhere near here. And over here, we have Cinderella running away in her raggedy clothes. So hard to understand that she's the same person without all the fancy clothes making her look so much more dazzling than she surely already is. Clip clop, clip clop, a shimmering horse cantered down a street in the big city. A royal messenger knocked on the doors of all the houses. Who wants to try on this glass slipper? If it fits you, Prince Charming will marry you. His Highness is already on his way. Young ladies rushed to the street, including ugly sisters, of course. Let me try it first. It will surely fit me, they both grunted, elbowing the other girls out of the way, but the toes of the ugly sisters were too long, and the other sister's heel was too broad. All the girls of the city gave it a try, but the glass slipper fit no one. And here we are, all the girls racing up the hill to try on the slipper where the ugly stepsisters are trying to force her feet into it. See all the other girls lined up the hill. They all wish to marry the prince if they can. Then Cinderella came out in her cleaning rags. May I try on the slipper, please? She asked. The sisters sneered together like toes in the mud. You silly fool, they cackled. But the prince himself held out the glass slipper, and Cinderella slid it on. It fits! It fits! Gasped the prince. A star fell out of the evening sky and landed on the street in front of Cinderella's feet. It fizzled and crackled, and grew until her fairy godmother was standing there, with the other slipper in hand. She waved her magic wand. And there we are. Everybody watching as the prince puts the slipper on her foot and the fairy godmother reappearing. I'm not familiar with this part of the story. This could be interesting. And Cinderella and Prince Charming were taken to their wedding. It was the most romantic, dazzling wedding the world had ever seen, and they both lived happily ever after. Here we are, arriving at the palace after their wedding, I assume, as they're together. Look at that long piece of cloth. Am I pointing around? This long piece of cloth. That's called a train. It's so long. There's people carrying it like crazy. There's tons of them. Little boys and little girls happily carrying the train of this beautiful dress for the beautiful girl who married their prince. And that's the end of this story. They lived happily ever after. Maybe we'll come back to them in another story from later in their life. I don't know. Depends on what books I find, I guess. I hope you enjoyed the story. Be good and always be kind.